Just imagine if you were in the desert and and every time you were dying of thirst and you were trying to drink water, and every time you were trying to drink the water, it just disappeared and evaporated. Well, this is what chasing validation is exactly like, the same exact as that analogy. Every time you chase validation, it's going to evaporate. That's just the truth. So, welcome to the series of validation. And let's drop this shit like an egg straight from a skyscraper and never look back. So look, I want to say most people will never be happy because they're running away. They're running after something that isn't really real and other people's opinion. The crazy part is half the people you're trying to really impress, let's be real, half the people you really want to impress, they don't even really like you as much as you would think. Let's say that again. Turn it down. Half the people that you're really trying to impress don't like you really think that they really do. So what's the point of even trying to impress anybody? That's why we do it for God. We don't do it for man, because we know man always will let you down. Man is never somebody that's there for you ever. So I also want to get in, because I always write my notes. I like to be organized, or else I will ramble and get all the way off track. So I want to also state, look, what exactly is validation seeking? Okay, so let me give you an example. The approval game. When you chasing validation, it's like playing a video game where the finish line keeps moving. You think like if it gets as many likes, if it gets as many comments, if I wear this brand, if I feel good about myself. But the second you reach that goal in that video game, it resets and you need more. So that's exactly what validation seeking is. It's like you get to a goal in a video game, and every time you get there, you got to get to another one. You got to get to another one. That's you. So this is how validation seeking is. Every time you get to that level, boom. You like, bro, I need some more. It's almost like it's a true thing that urges you to pull you in. That's how a video game is. Like, man, once you be at a level, like, I'm gonna go to the next one. If the game is that intriguing and that entertaining, you want to go to the next level, and that's how your validation is. Like every time, like, don't you get tired of that? Like, man, like that validation, like, what's the point of us seeking validation? It's not worth it. It really destroys our whole personality. It destroys our whole character. Because when we seek validation, we forget who actually made us. And we not being still and knowing who God is. So look, I want to give you another example to speak on what is validation seeking. Another example of what validation seeking would be is, it's like buying fake gold. Just because it shines, looks valuable on the outside, but deep down we already know it's worthless. That's what external validation is. Like, it shines, but it doesn't actually hold value. Anytime people give you praise and clapping for you, hey, doing all this extra shit for you, none of that stuff is real, bro. The only praise and worship we should be hearing is yourself to yourself. Because we know God, he would be happy, but he's not praising us, and worshiping us. So you should be clapping for yourself. We should be our own therapist. You should look in the mirror, be able to talk to ourselves and really and have a good conversation. That's not weird. What's weird is actually being fake around fake ass people. When you seeking validation, that's weird. Let me see if I look a little better with the lights up. That's weird. By you seeking validation, that's weird. So if you want to continue seeking validation, you're gonna be the one that ends up hurt in the end. Like, you're gonna hate that you had did this for so long to figure out people really never give a shit about what you even think, what you even do, how your life goes. They don't care if you end up like homeless or can't get money from your job. You don't care. Nobody cares if, we got, if you're able to pay your car note, or if you're able to get new tires, you're able to feed your family. Like, nobody really cares. And so, like, when you posting just to get likes, that's fake gold. So even for myself, I got to check myself. Like, am I posting for views, posting for myself, or am I posting just to get likes? And sometimes I will be noticing, like, oh, I'm posting just to get like more watches on my story. I'm not trying to post as much. Excuse me. I'm not trying to post as much because I want more people to watch it, which is actually strategy too at the end of the day. But shit, I got way more stuff I need to post. And by me just being like caring too much, like, that blocks your blessing. So doing things just to be accepted, this is fake gold. Like, so you would, like, imagine you doing certain things, like, for example, you're wearing certain clothes, you're going to certain places just to be accepted by the general public, by society. Like, if we want society to accept us, we're not going to be accepted by God. And you're not going to be accepted by your spirit, which is who God made, because you're living in your ego. You think God wants a person in their ego? No. He helps us to give us signs like, hey, look, get out of that. Like, that stuff is, you sleep right now, wake up. If you don't want to wake up, as much as information you come across, and everybody has the opportunity to wake up, and if you don't want to, who can force you? Think about that. If God can't, then nobody can. Only you can. Changing who you are for approval. This is truly fake gold. Man, we know a lot of people, they'll switch up. Certain people switch up when they get around certain people. They start talking different and moving differently. They ain't talking to you as much as they would. They're not around you as much as they would. They're giving more attention to certain people, and you're like, wow. But when we chilling alone, they all want to be buddy, or they all want to be all up on me. But as soon as certain people come around, this person starts acting differently. That's how you'll know. And that's why you don't do shit for approval. That's why you don't act fake around people. That's why you don't do none of that, because this person don't like you like that anyway, so you faking it. Meanwhile, this person doesn't like you. Like, this person probably hates you. Let's be real. But then you trying to be around them. Like, come on. Does that make sense? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, at all. So let's move on. And I want to speak on the science behind why we crave validation. The science behind this. We crave this too much. Literally a drug. So social media is literally a casino for your brain. Like, social media is truly a casino for your brain. Every like, every comment, and notification is like a slot machine pool. And you don't know if you'll hit jackpot or lose. Think about that. But you keep pulling because you're addicted to the chance of winning approvals. See, that's what social media is. It's a casino. Social media is a casino. It's like you want more and more and more. Like I said, you keep feeding for more and more. I want to play more. I want to win more. I want to win more. And then when you're not really getting that, you end up getting lost in the sauce. Shout out to Lil Uzi, Too Much Sauce. Well, back then, Lil Uzi, not this one. Anyways, that's what happened with social media. It's like, it's a casino. So if you don't know who you are, you're going to seek so much validation. And that's what's going to make you frustrated. And that's what has a lot of people. Even sometimes it hits me from time to time. We want more views. We want this and that. Yes, I do. But having gratitude is always number one. Like, that's what will prevent you from crashing out. Like, when you have true gratitude, you never want to like act crazy, because you know everything's gonna always work out. Everything. So the dopamine hit makes you feel so good temporarily, though. Like, when you get likes, when you get notifications, when you get comments, like, there's a dopamine hit that really makes you feel good. Because you know, especially like some women, they feel like, oh my God, I got all these likes. But if it wasn't for that, a lot of times they would need that attention from somewhere, and they'll go get it. So that attention is a true dopamine hit for women, for men. Getting messages from women, like even for women getting messages from men, they feel like it's so cool because they don't have to answer to all these men. They're like, oh, I got all these different type of dudes in my phone. They think that shit cool. It's like, all right, yeah, whatever, but like, okay, like, what's the point? Like, people think it's a flex. Like, it's not a flex. Promise you that it's not a flex. And then on top of that, that's why people get depressed when a post flops. Think about that. Like when shit don't go right, people end up getting mad. That's why they end up being inconsistent with social media, because it's like a gamble. It's like a gamble. Like, it's gambling with their self-worth, because their self-worth is not in themselves. It's rooted in social media. It's rooted in the external things. So when you rooted your self-worth into external things and external outcomes, it's always gonna be like a ship that's in the sea that's very wicked. When they just going through some bad weather and the water's getting high, crazy. I would never want to go through that, by the way. I cannot imagine. It's not gonna look like you can see everything around you too. It's gonna be pitch black. It's dark as hell in that ocean. It's scary out there. Shit, I do not play with that. I like the water, I do, and all that, but like, come on, dude. You on this ship, only lights you got is y'all. Shout out to all the people that do work on and anything to do with like either shipping, through water, or anything like that. I can't name everything. I can't think about that right now. But I also want to mention another example. This is how social media is truly a dopamine hit and truly like a drug. Like, if it's used incorrectly. So humans were wired to seek validation, because in ancient times, being accepted meant survival. That's why it's so natural. Like, we truly always somewhat seek validation, because that meant survival. And that's what it meant when we first, when God first made us. And if your tribe rejected you, you were basically dead. Like, so that's why you seek, a lot of people seek naturally validation, because you wanted validation from your tribe as a youngster and as like somebody that was of that time. So at this point in life, it's still in our DNA, but you still don't have to allow it to mess with you. But that's a fact. And so, like, what really happens? You start overthinking. Once you seek validation, you start overthinking a lot. You overthink on so much about your life and your own decisions. When you know the most about yourself, you know what you can do. You don't have to ask people questions. You already know. And the thing is, you start playing it safe. Once you start seeking validation, that's when you start not taking risks. That's when you start not doing what you really imagine in your mind. You start making safer moves, which isn't always bad, but it ain't good, because it's not going to be better in the end. And you start living for approval instead of for yourself. And that's exactly what I said. Like, you start doing a lot of things for other people instead of yourself. And it always bites you in the ass. The worst bite in the ass is by the bite of regret, the bite of guilt, both of those. Now, I want to get into, let me go here. Okay, so look, the only way, I need to get into maybe a part 2, honestly. I gotta get into a part 2 for this video, because this is action packed and I still got some notes left. So I'm gonna get into part two, because there's some great things I need to say, but I do want to end it off with this example of how validation seeking really works and why you gotta cut it out. Because look, a king doesn't chase for like validation. Let's be real. Any king, you ever seen a king chase anybody for validation? No, they don't care. He sets the standard. A king gonna set the standard straight. That's one thing. A real king sets the standard. And if you want people to respect you, you have to stop needing their approval. Think about that. Like, you gotta set the standard. We gotta set the standard in all of our lives. You don't need to let people set it in your life. You need to set it for yourself, and they need to abide by that. And when people see that you stand on who you are, your principle, your standards, they gotta respect it. They respect you. That's it. And that's why we gonna stand on it, because when you stand on who you are, people love it. Even if they hate you, but they somewhat love it, because they're like, you know what? Damn, I can't even do that. So let's recap a little bit. Validation is a moving target, and you need to stop chasing it. It's literally a moving target. It's like trying to, like those things in video games when you're trying to shoot something and time it right. It's like that. And it's like, why nobody, it's trying to do all that. That's a waste of time. That's a lot of work. Trying to